Hello, it's Rich here and welcome. As we record this, it is, of course, Black Friday today. I am really excited because I want to share with you something special, something unique. And this may or may not be something that for you is relevant, highly useful, and something that you would want to consider now. But let me tell you, this is going to be very time limited. Oh, pardon me. And this is absolutely time limited, and here's why. What I'm going to be offering you today is an opportunity for just 12 people to study with me over a 12-month period, to be mentored by me, to be coached by me, and by the end of that, to be certified as an NLP practitioner, an NLP master practitioner, and an NLP trainer. Now, I'm going to get into what that means, why that might be relevant to you, why you might be interested in that in just a moment. But let me just ask you a question first of all. What do you want? Think about that for a moment. As you think about 2018, and if 2018 was to have been your most fantastic year ever, what would you like to have had happen for you? For me, by the end of the year, I would like to have worked with 12 wonderful individuals, continued growing my business, had some wonderful holidays with my family, see my son grow and be happy, spend time with friends and colleagues, supported them, mentored them, run at least one half marathon, maybe push myself to take the next step. They're very clear things that I want. But above all, I want a feeling of satisfaction, a feeling of confidence, a feeling of well-being inside. And do you know what? Having been involved in personal development in a very focused way, in a very sort of direct way for 17 years now with NLP, with hypnosis, with coaching, working with the second biggest personal development company at the time in the UK, Live Tools. There's a lot of things that I picked up on the way, some of which work really well, and many things that people do that really delay them. If you've done any of my 28 Days to Hypnosis Success, you'll know that marketing is a really big part of that. But it goes beyond that. It really even goes beyond customer service to having the right information that allows you to have a solid and secure, safe, comfortable inner environment so that you can move forward congruently on your own terms, feeling inspired and feeling motivated with what is most meaningful and important for you, your loved ones, colleagues around you. Because there's no point trying to be something that you're not. And I think that's really important as we get into this now and think about it. So I want you to consider for a moment, what matters to you? I mean, what's important to you? And in the context of, it's 31st of December 2018, looking back on the year, what is it that you would have liked to have had happened in your life, in your business, inside? Because what I'm going to share with you now is something unique, something special. And I want to give you a little bit of a contrast up front, okay? We'll talk a little bit of budget later on. And honestly, I made this about as affordable as it possibly could be. But I want to give you a contrast so that later on, when you see what is on offer for you, you'll have two things at least. One, you'll be very clear in your own mind what you want, okay? By the end of this, you will be much clearer on what you do want, and whether hypnosis and NLP is something for you, whether you want to pursue more as a hobby, or whether you want to stay as you are, or whether you want to skyrocket forward. And I don't mean that just by learning a few techniques. Honestly, if you were just interested in learning a bit of jargon, there are plenty of places you can get that. You can get a book out of the library. You don't need to spend a penny. You can go on the internet and you can go and find out what the meta model is and what the Milton model is. I'm talking about something much more fundamental. I'm talking about being able to integrate this information inside so that it becomes part of you. It becomes a very natural part of you. It fits in with the rest of your life, it fits in with your personality. And for you to use that, be able to use that information to be able to attract more of the good things into your life, to be able to use law of attraction, if you will, but to be able to iron out any of the blockages inside you comfortably and easily. Very recently, I had a friend of mine, we were just talking, and she wanted me to show her one of the simple conversational techniques we could do. Immediately she went inside. She connected with some of the pain that was there. It had been around for a long time, it was there. We were able to go through a process, 2-3 minutes long. We dragged that one out a little bit. And she told me immediately afterwards that she felt better. And I know she's going to continue to feel better. And the thing is, you will know how to do that too. It's very simple, it's very easy, it's very elegant. And what we're talking about here is some very powerful hypnosis that goes beyond most of the traditional forms of hypnosis that are taught. And the reason is this. NLP back in the day was designed really as a conversational form of hypnosis. If you look back at some of the history of it, yes, there are other things that have been added to that subsequently, but originally the co-developers very much wanted to be able to use hypnosis, but not know anyone was actually, without sort of going up and going to sleep, because that's quite obvious, and really that's not going to be suited to a business context, a coaching context. It's not going to be suited to being a better friend and a better listener. And one of the things I'm going to show you, one of the things if you decide you do want to study with me, is that not only are you going to get looked after better than you've ever been looked after before in your life, absolutely guaranteed. Not only are you going to get content you will not get anywhere else, not only will you get the latest models and how to integrate it with hypnosis, but you will understand what you need to bring from inside you for all the other techniques and strategies to work, because you'll be working at the level of principle, you'll be working at this very, very deep level inside you. Okay, so this is really, today I'm really speaking to those of you, if you have feel that calling inside you that you want to take this forward, you either want to make the transition to running your own business, you've just started doing that, or you have some other areas where you feel demotivated, stuck, or you just want to get better results, then honestly, when you look at what's going to be offered here, what I'm offering, this is an absolute no-brainer. If somebody else was offering this, I would take it hands down. So let me just tell you a little bit first of all. I just want to give a bit of contrast. I don't believe in knocking other schools. I think we all have many things we can contribute. But one of my colleagues, who's also been certified by the same trainer as me, is offering NLP training. So I'll be very happily and discreetly on Facebook Messenger, if you wish, share that with you, just so you can go and see that for yourself. But he's a wonderful guy, a wonderful trainer, and it's absolutely fine to charge whatever you want. It's just that what we're offering here is quite different. So here's what he's offering. It is a he, but that's about as much as I'm going to give you. So this is the early bird price, by the way. So for his practitioner, £2,497. His master practitioner, £3,749. These are the early bird prices. And then the NLP Trainers Training Program, $5,249. Now, even if we just go with those are the early bird prices, in fact, with the trainers one, they haven't even given the actual price. That's just the trainers one. That's £11,495 for 3 courses. And that's literally turn up, do the course, go home, on your way. Okay? There will be no private coaching and mentoring in that. You understand? There will be no support. There'll be no support to integrate this into your business, how to make it congruent for you. Yes, it will be a wonderful environment, absolutely transformative. That's a different experience. Okay, that's the experience that I had when I was doing my training. I went over to America for a couple of months here or a month there. I would go and do these courses, and it will be amazing. You know what? I would finish, and the energy is gone. Where do I go next? Where do I go for help? Where do I go for support when I get stuck? That is what this is going to give to you over a 12-month period. Now, that's £11,495. If you were to pay the full price, you've got $3,720 for the practitioner, $4,320 for the master practitioner, and we don't know for the trainer's training. I mean, if the early bird is $5,249, you can do the math, and we're probably heading towards $8,000 there. That is a huge amount. So later on, I want to give you an idea of, by contrast, what I'm offering in terms of just the financial outlay. It's really important we talk about budget later on. You know there's a budget going to be there, and there's no point not being transparent about it, but it's important to get it in context, okay? Because if you've got a company that can pay for that, if you are absolutely loaded, then knock yourself out. But I suspect that for a lot of entrepreneurs, we've got to be smart starting up. We want to make sure that this is right for us. So you are going to be able to contact me on Facebook Messenger today. You are going to be able to ask me questions, and and there's absolutely no pressure whatsoever. But let me give you, I put on Facebook here, and in fact, for some reason, I started off with 3 reasons not to come and study with me. I'm not sure that was a very good idea. So let's focus on the reasons to come here. I've just recently, as you may know, certified Dr. Jonathan Royal, aka Alex William Smith, as an NLP trainer. And this is really exciting. He is obviously one of the best known global experts in hypnosis, and it was an absolute joy and pleasure to certify him. And Alex has decided to do that because the lineage that I come from John Grinder, Richard Bandler, John Overdorf, these are three of the absolute top trainers, and I have been certified in NLP since 2000. But I've always learned it within the hypnotic context. And let me tell you, there are plenty of schools that really don't teach much of the hypnosis side. I've done a number of NLP practitioner trainings. I've just carried on just for general interest, and I always believe you can learn things from other schools. But I mean, I've done them where hypnosis, I remember one, we didn't discuss hypnosis at all. And bear in mind, this was based on hypnosis until a few minutes at the end, and we were literally given 10 minutes with the Elman induction. Absolutely crazy. Now, that school very much focused on factual information, and let me tell you, there were a lot of facts in that school. But I don't think that's really what you want. I think you want something more. I think you want to be able to use this in your life so you become confident enough so that you can do the things that other people do. So if you wanted to stand in, a 200 or 300 seater packed auditorium, you could deliver your lecture demo, your presentation with absolute aplomb. Or if you wanted to deliver a course online, you could do that. I have a friend who runs courses online through Facebook, and let me tell you, he is doing very, very well for himself. If you want to develop regular clients, so if you want to have somebody in, maybe charge more for individual sessions, brilliant. But if you want to structure that over a longer period of time, I can show you how to do that. However, here's the thing, to be able to do that, you have got to feel confident inside. You've got to be able to understand your marketing. You've got to be able to look at things that are already working and be able to take the elements of that quickly, be able to integrate them and use them. And that's what we can do with NLP. So the first thing to bear in mind is, I've been doing this a long time. Alex chose to come and study with me because there's absolute credibility there through the Institute of Humanistic Neurolinguistic Psychology and Hypnosis. It is very well respected. John Overdorf is my mentor and trainer. It's co-author along with Julie Silverthorne of Training Trances and Dreaming Realities, two wonderful books that I would commend to you. And they also trained with Banda, but they also know Grinder as well. So these are people who are really at the top of their fields, and that's the lineage that you're going into. And that's why Alex chose to come and study with me, and that's why you may want to reflect on that as you think about where you want to go if you want to proceed with this. So that's the first thing. Second thing, this is the only course that I know of that is going to fully integrate hypnosis from day one. So we're not just going to be going in and saying, do this and look at that, and this is calibration, and this is rapport, and this is matching and mirroring. No, I'm going to show you from day one how to get that confident with hypnosis language that you can be having a conversation with somebody and be observant as to whether your messages and your suggestions are getting through or whether they're not. And I'm going to show you how you can do that as a kind of more of a stream of consciousness, or whether you even want to do that non-verbally, because that can sometimes be the most powerful way that you can communicate. And I'll show you how to do that ethically. So I'm going to show you how to integrate this within hypnosis. I'm going to show you that they're all part of hypnosis. I'm going to show you that NLP really is hypnosis, as indeed marketing is hypnosis, so that you can go beyond the traditional type of NLP, which is just a few techniques that people have tried, like, I've done the circle of excellence, or I've done a bit of anchoring. We want to go beyond that. Yes, you will know those techniques, but you're going to be able to use them without having to go through a script. You're going to be able to do them conversationally as well as the traditional route. So, for instance, a traditional way you do anchoring is you look at a script, you say, let's anchor the first thing on the first knuckle here. Now we need to break state. Let's pick another state. Let's anchor that on here. That can be useful therapeutically, but what if you were able to use your voice and your body and use certain types of language so that people could develop intrigue or curiosity without you having to go over and touch their knuckle? Yeah, might be useful. Imagine being able to do that on a phone when somebody calls you for a consultation. Imagine feeling so good inside because of our coaching and our mentoring sessions that you are able to overcome any fears you have about doing press releases, overcoming any fears you have about being able to turn up and present. That is exactly what we are going to do. That's exactly what you will get from me. And I'll tell you specifically what some of those things you're going to get in just a moment. You'll also discover third thing, so you're going to discover how to deliver multi-session coaching. So by that I mean, it's a really good idea, and I'll explain to you later on why I'm offering this and why I'm doing it this way. When you have people over a period of time who you can work with, customers, clients, you build that wonderful relationship. Yes, I am known for seeing people for, if you've got a fear or a phobia or, you're biting your nails, one session is generally enough. Okay, of course, there are exceptions to some things, but generally we can nail that in one session. And why wouldn't we? Stopping smoking, one session. But let's say somebody's moving towards a worthwhile goal, like, for instance, 2018, and you're thinking, well, what do I want to do this year? Well, I want to make more money. And for most people, it's very vague. I want to, date somebody else, or maybe I just want to bring fizz back to my existing relationship, whatever it is, but it's very, very vague. If you have something that you're committed to, like I will, by the end of the year, be a certified trainer of NLP. Let me tell you, there will be a very significant portion of people, particularly in the business community, but many, many other communities as well, that will really respect that, and it will enable you to command very, very high fees for multi-sessions, working with people, having repeat clients over a period of time. It's a really cool way to work. So I'll show you how you can structure that model. I'll also show you how you can use hypnotic language and use NLP to be able to run a coaching session perfectly every single time. Such a simple model that once you get it inside your head, not only will you understand all the NLP models, not only will you understand hypnosis better, but you will be amazing at coaching. And it's easy, it's straightforward the way I teach you. This will become really, really part of you. It will become second nature. And it will feel natural. It won't feel stilted. And that's what we want. So that's the third thing. Fourth, you're going to receive personal coaching and mentoring. Each month, you and I will get on the phone, or we may do it via Facebook Messenger. We may do it live, looking at each other like this, or we can use Skype. It really doesn't matter. Knock yourself out with whichever way you would prefer to communicate. But what we're going to do is you and I will have a coaching session. Now, that coaching session will, of course, be related to some of the content here. But here's the thing. You will have unlimited access to me. You will have audio recordings of full recorded practitioner certifications. You will have manuals that you can use, and you will be going through that material. There'll be a lot of self-study in this. But every day, should you wish, as often as you wish, you will be able to contact me via Facebook Messenger. You'll be able to ask questions. You'll be able to go out and try certain things. I will give you certain tasks. You'll try them. You'll see what the result is. We'll come back and have a discussion. You will never worry about, well, how do I implement this? And what about that? Or I'm confused about that. Because you'll be able to contact me. And if you know me at all, and if you see me at all, you know that I will get straight back to you. And that is one massive value-added thing. Because remember, I've got 17 years of experience behind me. And let me tell you, a lot of that was failure in business, through not understanding how to market myself. It was not knowing how to get through the blocks. And I've ironed those out, and I can share that with you so you can avoid those mistakes and accelerate very, very quickly. But not only that, each month we will have a call. You and I will have a mentoring call. It will be there. We can use it for any area of your life. Okay, now it can be related to this. You can pick whatever else. But at the end of the day, this has got to work for you. This has got to fit in with your life. It's got to fit in with your family. It's got to fit in with your existing commitments. It's got to fit in with however you currently bring money in. It's really got to fit in with you. And so any area of your life where you want to improve or you get stuck, that's your time. You will have that coaching with me, and we will iron that out. We will use those to make sure that you are fully exactly where you want to be. Anything you feel stuck in, we will use that to not only help you learn, but I will coach you through that on the call so you're ready, so you're free. And what this will do is this will not only enable you to feel better, but it will show you how powerful this is. So each time you experience being able to connect with your unconscious mind, feeling better, being able to move on with your life, feeling inspired to stay on track, you will be able to take the next step. You won't ever need to feel stuck, because every 4 weeks we will be talking on the phone. If we have something else massive that crops up, we can also have a quick call. But you'll remember, you're going to be able to contact me on Facebook Messenger any time you want. Now, when a client comes to see me, if you've been to the Royal event, if you've seen anything else that I've done, I charge £300 for a session, okay? So 12 sessions, that's £3,600. I want you to bear that figure in mind when we get to the end and I tell you what the budget is, because it's going to be less than that. And so I want you to bear that in mind as just one value-added thing that you're going to be getting in the context of everything else, which, to be honest, even just having unlimited access to somebody who you can ask for support, guidance. You can ask about NLP, but if, as far as I'm concerned, your life is your life. And so NLP, hypnosis, marketing, making sure things fit together, it's got to be pretty seamless. So within that context, to the degree I can't give you professional advice about medical stuff or legal stuff, beyond that, feel free to ask me. And if I can share that wisdom, I will do. And if I can't, I'll point you in the direction of somebody who can. So that's 4, personal coaching. But 5, well, we mentioned this, I've trained personally with Bandler, Brinda, co-developers of NLP, John Overdorf and Julie Silverthorne, who are founders of Humanistic Neuro-Linguistic Psychology, which is basically a kind of slightly more, I want to say spiritual kind of like slant on NLP, but whereas NLP can be very dry, and I know that turns a lot of people off, they see it's very corporate, very sales, very dry. Actually, it can be wonderful, but only when you connect and bring your heart to it, bring who you are to it. And that's really what we want to do. We don't want to be robots. We don't want to be the super slick salesman who's like, would you rather sign now or do you want to buy from me later? That's not really, that wouldn't sit right with me, and I don't think it would sit right with you. What you want to be able to do is be a better listener, somebody who's a force for good in the world. To be able to do that, you need to get a kind of a mixture of the business skills, the transformational skills for working with other people, and also working on yourself. And that's really what we're doing here, bringing all of those together. 6, you'll learn patterns like the 6-step reframe. Recently, one colleague of mine demonstrated technique for pain relief, and he did it in a wonderful way. We were chatting, and we both said at the same time, that's the 6-step reframe. And it is. 6-step reframe was a core pattern. It's a hypnotic way in which you communicate with the unconscious mind. It's very easy, it's very straightforward, but I'll show you how to do that in conversation. I'll show you how you can do that in a number of different ways, along with a whole bunch of other stuff. Honestly, that pattern in itself, the really interesting thing is over the years, even when I was at NLP trainers training, and I've been at other trainings, I've not met anyone in the field who really is currently using that especially, and many people do not feel, and basically all the NLP master practitioners I've been speaking to, they didn't feel confident using it, which is absolutely ridiculous, because this is arguably one of the main patterns that you can use to create transformation in any area. And I'll show you, amongst a whole bunch of other things, how to have that conversation, how to do it on the phone, how to set things up in so many different ways that you can find the best way of working that fits in with you. Okay, so we want to be ecumenical, we want it to be fit in with you, we want it to fit in with your school of hypnosis, whatever tradition you come from. Let me tell you, this is going to help you move mountains. It's going to help you. If you want to set up your own business, you're going to have to, or you want to expand your business, or you just want to overcome the blocks. You recognize that you should do marketing. You recognize that you should do press releases. You recognize you should be in front of groups of people. I have a friend of mine, and we have these conversations, and she says, I should do this and I should do that. And some things do happen, but we want to go beyond the shoulds to where you feel inspired, where there's no blockages there. You can take the right actions for you, feeling motivated to do so. By the time you get onto the master practitioner materials, I will work with you as we're demonstrating value solicitations, and I will show you how to connect inside with the powerful natural motivation and drive that is in there. I'll help you align all your values and all your inner blueprints so you're naturally motivated and taking the action that you want. You can imagine that's going to be pretty useful, okay? But, not only are you going to have that experience, you're going to have how powerful it is. I'll teach it to you in a very straightforward, simplified, streamlined way so that you're going to be able to use that with your clients. You can use it with friends who are stuck. You can do this conversation. It's a really nice tool actually to have in your kit because you can do it over a coffee. You can do it with a friend over the phone. And you'll really help people to be able to see where the blockages are. And one of the things we can do then is we can literally do a few little bits of NLP magic and help those values become realigned so that the things that really matter for you suddenly take priority. You feel motivated to do them. The old negative emotions that were there, that all of us have to work through. It's always an ongoing thing, because honestly, I don't care how successful you are, you set a goal that's well enough out your comfort zone, and you're going to be up against it. And all the people who I know who are massively successful have had support, they've had coaching, they've had mentoring, they've had someone who has helped and guided them over the years, and that's what we're doing here. So there's patterns like that, there's loads and loads of other stuff, but you're going to get to know them, so you will never need a manual. You'll understand it at a deep level of principle, so you can go beyond technique to the level of mastery. And that will happen quicker than you might imagine. 7, you're going to learn my unified theory of hypnosis. So we touched on that in the 28 Days to Hypnosis Success, which I commend to you. But I'm going to show you what I call hypnotic reality creation, which HRC, hypnotic reality creation, is. You see, the unified theory of hypnosis is really cool. It's very good. But there's a step beyond that, because even with a non-state understanding of hypnosis, there is something that happens, okay? There is something that happens in the interaction between people and inside their minds, what I call hypnotic reality creation. And I'm going to show you what that is. And you're literally going to, if you were to hallucinate this, imagine that you could actually see the reality morphing for a person, even morphing for yourself in front of you. Now that's a metaphor, it's not actually happening, but in fact it's happening at the internal level, and actually arguably once it happens at the internal level, it will start to spread out externally. But I'm going to show you that model, I'm going to break that down for you, so you understand beyond any NLP book I've ever seen or come across, what actually happens, how people create things inside their minds, and how you can leverage that to change things for yourself and other people for a force for good. Because, this is the thing, we're going to be always acting ethically in the client's interest for the highest good. And I'll show you how to do that. These are very, very powerful tools. Sometimes people have concerns about them. The way that we're going to approach it here, which is from a place of love, care, compassion, delivering for the client, and making sure that we are very well remunerated for that. That's really the name of the game. Then everyone gets to win. It's a win-win scenario. So you're going to learn that. You won't get that anywhere else, and I've never taught it publicly before. And the people who are on my course will get to do that. They'll get to ask questions about it. They will get insights into some of the research that's coming out as well that really you won't get anywhere else. 8, we've already talked about this, but you're going to get personal, unlimited access to me. So let me repeat that. Imagine this, that Tony Robbins said, you know what, you can get on the blow to me anytime you want to be motivated. Now that could be quite cool, and I'm sure that would be wonderful. But you know what? You can't get through. You can't get through by email. Back in the day, back in 2000, Tony and I used to email a bit, so I could contact him from my old Hotmail account. And back in the day, early days of email, you could do that stuff. You can't do that now. It is increasingly hard online. It shouldn't be, but in many ways, it's become increasingly hard for some of the people who've become very, very famous to be able to contact them or to be able to get that level of support. And let me tell you, even if you pay £8,000 to do a training, you will get your certification, you will make some nice friends there. But the deal is it kind of finishes there. And for me, I want to offer something different because, as I speak to colleagues, one of the reasons I did 28 Days to Hypnosis Success is I know what it's like to be flailing, to have done an NLP trainer's training but have no marketing plan in place or resources to do that. Where do you start? If you want to build up a hypnosis business or build up a training business or a coaching business, where do you start? I've been in the position of doing this and having wonderful skills, but then no clients to use them with. And really you don't want to be in that particular place. Or you learn some techniques, but you have questions and you don't feel confident with that area of it, and so you never use it. Really, you don't want to be in that position, and you definitely don't want to be in the position that you come across as stilted, that you don't feel confident using the techniques. They need to become natural for you, sit with you, so that it goes beyond technique to you just have this sense or you can work intuitively, because some part of you is always tuned in when you're communicating with someone, whether what you're saying is really going into their unconscious, whether it's, and you've developed this almost sixth sense of awareness that in every interaction in life, in every room you go into, with every interaction, you either leave a person better off or you don't. There's no, it's staying the same. Honestly, you've either taken a little bit of energy from them, or you've contributed some to them. And I will show you how to be one of those people who is very aware of their own energy, can actually bring that to bear and use physiology, breathing, other tools and techniques in a very simple, easy way, so that it becomes unconscious, because it will be naturally installed through hypnosis, so that inside you start to feel better. And because you're one of the people who adds value to everyone else, through just simply even not taking energy from them, by being aware when you go into those situations, making sure that every time in that transaction the other person feels better off, you will make more friends, you will attract more clients, you will be more successful. And remember, not only can you contact me anytime through Facebook Messenger, and of course, if I'm watching a movie or something, you'll have to give me a little bit of time just to get back to you, but I will get back to you. But when we have the coaching sessions, you can say to me, look, this is an area I want to get through, and I've always felt uncomfortable with this since I was a kid, and we can work with it. You can tell me what it is, and we can work with it that way, or we can do it entirely content-free. Honestly, it matters not to me. It's all about you and what you want. And we will clear that, so that is totally gone, so you are free to move on in your life. Now, so you've got personal access to me. Number 8, you can integrate NLP congruently. That's simply, look, you don't want to learn these techniques and be somebody who's like, I remember one of the early courses I was doing, I was traveling with somebody, and I would sort of go to scratch my head, and he would go to scratch his head, and then I'd put my hand on my lap and put his hand on his lap, and then I'd lift up my left hand, sort of put my hand on my shoulder, and he'd do that. And then we were chatting later on, and he said, oh yes, I do matching and mirroring with everybody, and they never notice it, and it works so well. And I'm like, honestly, that really is not good. That's really freaky. You don't need to do that. There are some parts of NLP that really have been, shall we say, miscommunicated, or really are not that effective, and you need to know what those are, so you don't look like a fool or manipulative or just come across as awkward and cumbersome. It's really, that's not a good thing. Yes, there sometimes is a responsiveness that people have when they are in rapport, and there may be certain things that happen in tandem, that tend to happen naturally. But if you try to force that and copy what other people are doing, the matching and mirroring, honestly, it's not going to work very well. And of course, because those techniques are designed to be used hypnotically, you need to understand the hypnotic context. You need to understand the receptivity of other people. Honestly, I've seen and I've heard lots of stories of people who go and they see somebody giving NLP demonstrations, and that person gets somebody up there and they're almost barking at them and shouting them to change. They haven't done it elegantly. They haven't been respectful. They haven't put that person at ease. They haven't created the right context. They haven't got rapport with their unconscious mind. These are crucial things. So it's all really about the setup. And once you know that, and once you understand also some of the latest science about the placebo effect as well, you'll understand that you can really rock and roll with these. You can have great confidence in the way that you present your ideas, and you will be able to help people change. It's a really, really wonderful thing. I mean, for me, well, I'll tell you about this in a minute, but it's transformed my life, so I'll tell you a little bit about that in a minute. And yeah, finally, mastering hypnotic language. Look, if there's one thing that people want to do that draws them often to NLP or draws them to hypnosis, is they see people telling stories, hypnotic stories, metaphors like Erickson used to do, or they experience somebody, weaving this stuff on recordings, and they think, well, how do you do that? Or they just suddenly they're there. I mean, people absolutely love this, by the way. You could fill out a room with 20, 50, 100 people, and you could start speaking to them hypnotically and start to tell them a story about something that happened a long time ago. And the more they listen, the better they feel. Because as you start to use your voice in a certain way, inside, you start to connect with the sense that something's beginning to happen. And it reminds me of a client some time ago who I was speaking to. And as I was talking to them as they were listening to me. Now, I asked a simple question. As you go inside and focus inside now, just allow yourself to start to become aware of that certain sensation that you weren't aware of till just now. That's right. And just notice what feels most unusual inside that certain sensation. And as that happened, they started immediately to say, no, I'm feeling this tingling. Now for them it was a tingling in their hands. For other clients, it's just a general sensation inside. For other people, it's yet something different. And yet as they started to become aware of that, they smiled inside. Because it was a sign to their conscious mind of something unconscious already starting to happen. Without any effort at all. Literally, they'd come in, had their cup of tea, and already inside, they're starting to get a sense that something is starting to change. Now, so one of the cool things about the way that I teach NLP, and that we're going to be doing it on the year's program, is to make sure that you feel completely comfortable with language. The languaging can be a wonderful thing, but of course, if you have the words, but you're not delivering them in the right way, then that's going to have an effect. And so you're going to know the context, how to deliver those words, and what kinds of ways in which you can do that and weave that together. Once you understand that, you will be able to record products from scratch, give hypnotic lectures, do group inductions. Now you can use the scripts, which is really cool, but there will come times when you're working with people and you have to do it on the hoof. And you know what? There's something wonderful about knowing that you can do and you have all the skills that the other top people in the field can do, because then you can rock up, you can deliver what you need to do, you can connect with people, you can be credible, you can be the authority figure, you can trigger the placebo effect, which, of course, as we know, means that people have that sense of belief and positive expectation. And you're going to understand all this stuff. This is going to be integrated really from day one. And I think you'll really love that, because not only will you have the hypnotic language, but you will learn the language of specificity, the so-called meta model. So I'll teach you how to use that to be able to set things up at the beginning of any session, and we'll use that ourselves as I'm coaching you. I'll show you how to set things up with specific outcomes for clients, and I will do the same for you at the beginning of the course. So, you know, before you even come, you're going to fill out a pretty detailed questionnaire, okay? This questionnaire is going to get you to go into as much detail about what you want in your life, what you want to have happen by the 31st of December 2018. This is confidential between you and me. You can put as much or as little as you want in there. If you want to mention personal history, great, you don't have to. But you are going to go through that in absolute massive detail and send that to me. So even by the time we have our first call, I will already know where you want to go. One of the cool things and unique things about this is, yes, you will get the NLP content. Yes, I guarantee that you will have the certifications, because I will work with you as long as you are doing the studying that you need to, as long as you're turning up for your calls, as long as you're asking questions as you go, you will pass. You can do the certifications with me as often as you want till you get them. You will get the NLP Practitioner certification. You will get the Master Practitioner certification. You will get the NLP Trainers Training certification, okay? It's not going to cost you 12, 13, 14, 15,000 pounds to do all this. You'll see in a sec. You will have those. You will have them available for you. You will have that as a goal in the background. But to me, that's not enough. I mean, that's great. That's wonderful. Yes. One of my friends said, what do I need to do to get them hanging on your wall? Well, you know, but we'll get to that in a minute. But I want you to have better relationships. I want you to know this so well that you can use it on yourself to feel better, to feel more confident, to break through in any areas of your life. I want you to have it there so that you feel really entirely comfortable inside. I want you to have it so that you can use it with and integrate it and know how to integrate it with all the skills that you've been taught. I want you to be able to integrate it with all the unique experiences that you have. And so you will get this mastery of language, the language of specificity, to get those goals and get those clear outcomes for yourself and with other people. Then you'll learn how to tap into the vast resources people already have, the potential that we know is inside the genie of the unconscious mind, and you'll be able to do that hypnotically. And let me tell you, this is just going to be a real wonderful ride. And because you've got that support there, you will stay inspired, motivated, and confident right the way through. Now, it is possible as well that we may, I'll leave you there. I think there'll be some other things that we'll do later on, but there will be some other bonuses, let me tell you, on top of what I'm telling you here. But till those are all set up and in place, I want to kind of keep that as something that you can look forward to. So I think it's fair to say that nowhere else will you get that one-to-one private coaching, including full support, so this course is tailored to your own goals. You'll get one-to-one support to help integrate that with your marketing, show you how to integrate this with hypnosis and coaching, show you how to become a master storyteller. This is not really taught generally. The metaphor side is kind of sort of shoehorned in, basically because most trainers don't know how to teach that. I will show you what works in that, and I will help you to integrate that inside. Using hypnotic journeys is wonderful if you want to do anything spiritual. It's wonderful for coaching corporate people. It's wonderful if you want to do a 5-week or a 10-week session where people pay maybe 10 or 20 pounds each, 40 pounds, whatever you want to charge. You hire out a room locally and you get 20 people together in an evening, and they come along and they can tell you what their goals are, and you can tell, based on what they tell you, you can then structure a weekly trance group induction where you tell them to close their eyes, and they'll be successful as long as they keep their eyes closed to that process, and you'll be able to tell a story and weave in their symbols in this magical way in which it's just wonderfully uplifting and exciting for them, and deliver a wonderful unique experience that when there's any notes, you'll be able to do that with great confidence. I will show you how to set that up and do the marketing for that should you wish. But you're going to learn all these things. Having metaphors is really cool, because once you can work with stories, you can create the hypnotic context. And it's like with what you're learning here, literally, I could have, we could write down, 120 different techniques or tools. You'll be able to pull, people could pull a card out for you and say, work with this one, and you would be able to do it. And you will feel confident doing that. But the language is really wonderful. And when you know how to use that within the framework of stories, it keeps a lot of spice in there when you're working away. So even if you're using a complete mind therapy approach, you can still put a little metaphor in the middle, a little story. And it will keep it fresh for you. It will keep it exciting. It will allow you to stimulate your unconscious mind so that you stimulate the unconscious mind of the person you're working with. Okay? So before we get to budget, I want to just make sure that we're clear what I'm saying. We're clear what's available for you, because I want you to be really clear in your mind, what do you want for next year? I had some people ask me, and they were like, and friends and colleagues. In fact, one of my friends runs the largest events company. I think it's the largest events company now in the UK, Live Buzz. And he was like, Rich, do you need a little bit of sleep? And to be fair, I do. But when I was delivering the 28 days for Hypnosis Success, I'd do a full day. I'd be up at 6, do a full day, read, put my son to bed at, sort of 9, and then we'd get to work. And it was probably about 5 hours work per, on average per day for those modules over 28 days. Now, that's challenging from a kind of like an energy point of view, but as long as you are connected with where you want to go and you feel inspired, you will be able to learn to dig really deep inside. And so the reason I want to ask you what do you want is, I think it's really important that you need to be one of those people, I think, who already inside yourself is willing to commit to a year of learning, growing, having personal development just every day, growing your business, developing your skills, having support and guidance. And you need to be one of those people. And I think you need to, the way I would approach it is, you want to sort of be thinking to yourself, okay, this is where I want to go. If I don't take action, and if I don't change anything, where am I going to be a year from now? Do I want to do that? Those of us who are sort of like in our mid-40s and we're going on, not that it really matters, but you don't really wait until you're 50 or 60 or 70 or 80. Time is precious. That is one thing we can't get back. So be clear in your own mind. If I don't change, how am I going to feel? If I could have a year of growth and I could have those 3 certificates on the wall and have them mean something, and mean that I had built new relationships up. I had developed this absolute confidence inside myself. So I know without a shadow of a doubt that I am in an absolute elite group of people who can use hypnosis, which is really what we're talking about, hypnosis, coaching, NLP, building up your business, making a transition wherever you want to go, and really being able to live life on your own terms, feeling really congruent inside, having healed the stuff that needs healing in a way that's right for you to the degree you want to deal with that, and moving forward in your life in the way that you want to move forward. So I really want you to be clear. That's what's on offer. And if that either excites you, that, or the thought kind of terrifies you, it feels like too much work, there's going to be loads of stuff to do. It's not going to be 5 hours every day, but you know what? There will come times in your life where you want to give that extra energy to things. You know, I've been chatting with a friend recently, and she's been saying, "Oh, I should do this with marketing and that." And you know what? The whole thing about the marketing is that needs to be reframed in your mind as totally inspired, knowing that the support, the value that I'm adding for people is so valuable that if I don't give that to them, the world is a poorer, more impoverished place. And thus, I'm going to get off my arse and do this. There is no fear, because I know that what I'm doing is going to be absolutely delivering results for people. And you're going to understand it. You'll understand how hypnosis works so powerfully and so deeply that you'll be free to develop your own techniques. All right, but one extra little thing before we get to budget. I'm going to show you, should you wish, how to develop your own therapy. Look, the thing with NLP is, I've had this idea for a while. I would give you 7 cards, and we'll have 20, a pack of maybe 52 cards. You pick 7 out. They've got different therapies, and whichever order we pull them out in, that's the order we do the therapy in. We'll come up with a cool name together. I haven't done the cards to develop the cards yet, but trust me, it will be really cool. But I can show you how I've been able to develop my own therapies and get them legally insured, and set up a website, do the logo, do all that stuff, and get them legally recognised by holistic insurance services. In fact, there's no cost to get them recognised, by the way. I'll show you how to do that. But how to get all that set up for less than $40. You can do that, and you know what? You're going to need something like that. You want something like that that identifies you, that you can use in your niche. Now, you may want to deliver practitioner trainings yourself later. Well, that's absolutely fine. We can do that. But you know what? You still want to have something that's special, that's yours, that sets you apart, because you have your own unique life experience. You are going to be, people in a certain group are going to be drawn to you. There are people with whom you connect that no other group of people whom you would be able to connect with in the same way. But I will show you how to do that so that you can integrate this inside. So it's not just about having the content there. Yes, you will have the content. Yes, you will have the skills. But I know it's so important to integrate this into the marketing, integrate it inside you. And I know it's really important to be able to have something special as you go, and some things that you can do, some ways in which you can start to approach that. Now, of course, I tell people this. I've told people about how to do this in 28 days to hypnosis success. How many people go and do it realistically? Why is that? The reason is because of stuff that blocks them, procrastination, old learned patterns, old things to do with the imposter syndrome, and just all these kind of things. Trust me, we'll get past those, all right? If you have that mindset that you are curious, fascinated, you want to learn, you want to be inspired, you want to transform things, then let me tell you what the budget is and what's available. Okay. So we've already said that if you're just getting by the early bird price by another trainer, also certified by John, we're looking at £11,495. Each of my coaching sessions is £300, so 300 times 12, which is what you'll be getting, is £3,600. So if we added those together, that's £15,095 worth of value. And of course, you're going to be getting unlimited access to me whenever you want. Now, here's the thing. As I was thinking about this, I'm thinking for myself when I was starting off, and what I think was what I could have pushed myself to do, and also, if I was sort of doing okay, but I wanted to bring something in. And I know that as you're thinking ahead to next year, you will be already now thinking about what really matters to me, all right? And honestly, if this isn't starting to excite you now, then it's unlikely that this is right for you, okay? If you are, however, if there's a part of you that's thinking, you know what, send me a little message on Facebook Messenger afterwards. I will get back to you and we'll arrange a time. We can arrange a time where we can have a bit of a natter as well, okay? That will probably be a little bit later today, but we'll arrange a time to do that, okay? So I'm thinking about it from the point of view of having been there, having started off, having had to sort of pay, for like little quarter-page adverts for, £100 per month, all this kind of stuff. So what I think is so the price relative to the 15,000, whatever we just talked about, the price that I think will be most suitable, that I know would have worked for me, that I could have afforded back in the day, that I know relative to other things in my life, if this is important enough for you, trust me, this is a really good deal, is £2,964 for all of that. Now, that includes everything, including certification, coaching sessions. Bear in mind, 12 coaching sessions would set you back, if it's £300 a session, which is what I charge for a session, that would set you back £3,600. Now, if you were to pay that all in one go, I would be willing to drop that down to £2,470. However, if you wanted to pay that monthly, which is probably the way I would have done it back in the day, £247 a month over 12 months is £2,964. So you'd have a monthly investment of £274 each month over 12 months. And the way we'd structure it is at 4 months, we would be looking to do the practitioner certification, at 8 months, master prac, and at 12 months, we do the NLP trainers training. Okay, and just so you know, the practitioner is pretty much all the foundational stuff that you would have heard from with NLP, submodalities, anchoring, 6-step reframe, visual squash, all those kind of things, also called parts integration, all those kind of things, the classic swish pattern, all that kind of stuff, and a lot more. I'll also be teaching you alignment therapy, which is something unique to HNLP, which is a really, really cool pattern that you're going to want to use again and again. At the master practitioner level, there's a lot of focus on language. There's also focus on values and meta-programs. And meta-programs are these very, very unconscious filters, like whether somebody's big picture or more detail-oriented, whether they look for similarity or whether they look for difference, whether they sort more by things they have to do, or they sort more by things possibility, by what they could do. And trust me, there's a way that we can go there. So I'm going to give you my approach, and you'll have a very special, unique thing that you can use, which is 16 questions you can go through, which I will go through with you, which will show you very clearly in any area of your life the way in which you're motivated to do things that you weren't aware of before. And then you'll be able to use that with any of your clients as well, if they're having difficulties. In fact, this alone is a service that you can offer to people, because you can use it to get a very good idea of what motivates them, what causes them to choose to act in certain ways. Once you understand values, remember, what inspires and motivates people, then you're really rocking and rolling, because if somebody's stuck, you can find out what their criteria, their unconscious values are. You can see where the block is, you can clear that directly, and those values will naturally realign. And then finally, trainers training is where you will demonstrate that you understand all those patterns and you can use them. But it goes beyond that to being able to be a gifted, talented presenter, okay? So that you could present those ideas, or indeed any other ideas, because if you can present those ideas, you can present any other ideas with absolute confidence. So that's really going to be the progression in the way through that we're going to do it. Let me tell you this, because of that service, you might think to yourself, well, why would you offer that? Why would you offer such a tailored thing, and why would you do it at such a, honestly, such a very discounted rate? Let me tell you why. I'm only going to offer it to 12 people, and because realistically, in terms of the time and the effort, if we've got 12 1-hour monthly calls, and actually they may well be a bit longer. We'll see about that. But you've got you've got those 12 calls a month over 12 months, plus help and assistance each day, plus some of the other things that I'm looking at, some extra added value that I'll bring to the group there. plus the certification, all those kind of things that we've got happening within that, then I want to deliver outstanding customer service to you. And if you know anything about me, the rapid instant change hypnosis and the rich system that I've developed, that's really what I want to do. Secondly, it's far preferable for me to spend my time working with motivated colleagues who want to learn, friends, who we can share ideas with, support each other, because then I don't have to spend time doing other things. I can just focus on the content, supporting you. I can focus on helping your marketing. You know, when we do the practitioner, if you want to do a press release around that, great. We'll work on that together. You can use my name. We can, you know, I can do all the things and help you do that. I can share with you my guy who will, for $10, design you a professional logo. I can put you in contact with, well, of course, many of you already know Stu Cassels, who can do all the websites and stuff for you. But I will point you and I can share with you the people who I know who are based all over the world, who can really, really help you and support you. But I'm here to do that for you. So I can help you with all the aspects that you need in terms of press releases and so forth. But the thing is, I want to be able to focus my time on helping people. We get this done now. Now I've got some people now. My goals are all sorted, set up for 2018. I can focus on you, making sure you're successful. And trust me, it is the law of attraction, it is the law of karma. You're successful, I'm successful, everyone wins. That's really what I want to do. I want to have some massively motivated people transform their lives, and you know, and we will have, trust me, we'll have some kind of celebration at the end of that. But realistically, I can only offer that for 12 people. I also, having gone through this process myself, designed products. You know, I was back in, you know, even 12, 13 years ago, I was giving people ideas for products that became best-selling products in the States, helping develop best-selling products here. But I didn't understand about marketing. I didn't understand about promoting what I was doing. I had all the skills there, and people would love it when they worked with me, but I didn't know how to connect that with them. I didn't know how to build my business up quickly. And there were gaps there. There were things that I saw other people doing that really weren't taught in the courses. So I've gone way beyond all of that now. So none of that stuff really is really, it really doesn't matter now. What matters is when you feel that good and confident inside, when you feel completely focused, congruent and aligned, you will be able to take these steps that you need. And one of the things that we'll do as well is, you know, NLP has this thing called modeling. And I know one of my friends likes to call it copying, which is kind of on one level true. But here's the thing, there will be certain things that one of the reasons I got very good at doing this is there are certain things that people do unconsciously. And once you know how to look out for those signs, then you can immediately, well, not only will you understand them and how to communicate with them better, but you'll know how to integrate that deeply and comfortably inside yourself. So, for instance, very recently I saw someone demonstrate a wonderful way of pain relief. And already I understand the principles of that. Now, of course, there are nuances when you go and learn something new, but you'll have an understanding of that because you'll understand the principles that are being used. And because you can understand those principles, you'll be able to say, okay, I see what's going on here. So you could take that and adapt it. You could use it as is, or you could refine it and take that further on. So I kind of want to share that with you. So the reason that I want to do this is because, yes, it's always good to get money in, but you know what? I want to focus on working with quality, motivated people. Then that's my focus. I can crack on with that. I can develop my other products and so forth on the side. Got my time for family, friends, all those kind of things. And hey, yes, I probably will still see you around at some events next year, because you know what? It's good to go out and hang out with nice people. So here's how I want to kind of wrap things up today. If you've got any questions at all, anything of interest, I am not somebody who believes in hard sale. I will happily just answer your questions. And some of my colleagues and friends recently have been asking about this stuff. We're just going to hang out and have a chat anyway over the next few days. But if you feel stuck at all in any area of your life, if you feel there's something that you haven't been able to resolve, if you feel that you want some professional coaching, then honestly, like if I'm charging £300 for a coaching session and you're paying £274 a month that gives you the coaching session, plus all this certification, plus unlimited support, then hopefully you're joining up the dots and realizing that in itself is fantastic, because it's going to give you a clear focus for next year. If you're thinking about how can I have a clear focus for next year, let me tell you that you want it to be specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, timed and towards smart. So at the end of the year, if you've got those certificates hanging on your wall, those professional certificates, and you may want to see Alex's, these are lovely, beautiful ones that are commissioned, that are unique, that you will be getting on the wall there, 3 of them hanging on your wall. You will know that you've had all those experiences, overcome or any challenges, so that you can work with yourself at the level of self-hypnosis, unconsciously, and be able to do that for other people, and have built up your business to the degree you want to. Heck, even if you just wanted to do this for a personal development exercise, even if you weren't interested from a business point of view and you just wanted to, but why wouldn't you? Yeah, because then you've got more freedom in your life. But even if you just wanted to do it from a personal development point of view, let me tell you, when I did NLP trainers training, I was amazed that was the most transformative out of all the trainings, which honestly I wasn't expecting, but really a lot of really cool stuff happened during that training. And I want you to have that there, and I want you to have that experience over the year. I want you to have something where, in our industry, in the personal development industry, in the hypnosis industry, and honestly in the NLP industry as well, there are a lot of people who are very good doing the sales and marketing, get your money, do your sales, come over to Hawaii and do this and get $10,000, it's only $10,000 and it's going to be really cool 3 days. Yes, it is. Yeah, it's amazing. It's fantastic. And, it's great energy with 5,000 people in the room. But you know what? If you're just doing that and you haven't got all the other kind of parts of your life aligned, and you haven't got some support for the practical things that you need to do each day, and you're not doing that, and even if you are getting good at doing that, but you're not doing any marketing because you don't really know how, and that other stuff looks much more interesting, you know what? You're going to stay stuck. So I want to work with people who really want to overcome all that stuff and move forward in the direction they want to go. Okay, so £274 per month. That's if you are paying monthly. If you pay it in one go, it's going to be less. I haven't got my calculator here, but if you pay it all in one go, that's £2,470. That's you done and dusted for the year. You don't need to pay now, but you will want to be booking very, very soon. You will definitely want to be contacting me today to register interest by Facebook Messenger. So if you're watching this, you'll know where I am there, Richard.Haggerty on Facebook. You'll want to let me know, and let's if you've got any questions, you want to have a bit of a chat, absolutely fine, fire them away. That's what I'm here for. If you want to pay monthly, it's £247 a month, and you can pay that monthly, and at the end of the 12 months, you'll have all the certificates awarded to you. If this is something you want to do, here's what I'm going to do. Now, people can either pay it in one go, or if you want to get ready in your mind to start paying, if you need time to get cash together, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to give people the option. They can either set up things to start paying monthly, put down their first payment now, ready for January, so that that's already in place for them. They can pay in full, and they'll get a saving of, I guess it's around about £500. So if you pay in full, you'll be saving about £500. So you basically get a couple of months free. So if you pay £2,470 now, starting 1st of January, we'll be going into, in fact, let's say we'll start on the 2nd of January. Let's give us we'll have a little bit of rest and recoup on the 1st, but we can get cracking on the 2nd, unless you want to start on the 1st. All right, so that's £2,470. That's everything. There's nothing else to pay within that. Or you can pay monthly, but you're either going to need to do that. And so what I'm going to do is the first 12 people who either book in full, pay their first month, or pay a £97 non-refundable deposit will be one of the 12 people who will be part of that for the next year. So this is going to be my Inner Circle program. It's going to be my mentoring program. This is NLP Mastery. This is true NLP mastery that's going to allow you to integrate hypnosis coaching. I will show you, not just because, I learned many patterns over the years, but if you know patterns, then these are just things that you might randomly want to, when would you use them? Why would you use them? How would you use them? How do you know that they're going to be effective? That's what you need to know. And I'll show you how you can use it in a coaching way, like a conversational way, so that you can structure things so it's very obvious what to do, and where you'll get to a certain point where you're very much like an artist, And if you get a sense that person is very visual, you're going to be able to work with the images in their mind. If you get a sense of their very feeling, you'll be able to work at the feeling level. If it's more kind of there's somebody who is more talks to themselves, you'll be able to work with them in that way. Now, it's true you can work with people very generally by working all those ways in one go, but you know what? You're going to be able to work with absolute precision. You'll know how to use this to coach. You'll be able to structure a hypnotherapy session. You'll be able to use it in sales if you want to sell more. And you know what? You're not going to be one of those people who's actually, trying to manipulate people in the sense of, trying to say, buy this now or will you sign later? No, you'll help people feel that good and that looked after and that cared for that they will naturally feel more inclined to do business with you, which is a wonderful, wonderful ethical way to work. And I'm also going to teach you some advanced stuff that you really won't get anywhere else, but about how to just be a nicer, kinder human being. Because honestly, you can still know all this stuff. You can be wonderful working with people and still be a kind, spiritual person or just a kind, down-to-earth. But, you can maintain all of that, Or, should you wish to be a little bit more snazzy, I'll show you how you can take that and you can take things up. Really, you can suit it to your personality. But if this is something of interest to you, you need to let me know today. Or ask me questions, let me know you're interested. If you want to definitely confirm a place, then I'm only going to make it available. I haven't got 12 fingers, so we'll do that and that. So it's the first 12 people who pay a deposit, pay the first month, or pay in full, whatever works for you. I'm happy to work with you with that, with the payment plan. I will simply send you a PayPal link over and you'll be able to book easily and quickly. But it is only going to be available for 12 people because I'm going to spend my time, dedicate it, be completely committed to serving you for a year, okay? And to be able to offer that to you, to be able to be there for you, to be able to make sure that the coaching sessions are there, being able to make sure that we set the right outcomes for you at the start, to be able to teach you the skills, to be able to share that information with you. Then we're going to need to make sure that there's just a small group who can benefit from that. There will be some other things that I will be offering next year as well. Some of it will be bonuses for the group, but there'll be some other things that open up. But there won't be anything like this. It's not like, next week, once 12 people, and I'm going to say, we'll squeeze another couple on. We can do that. Well, you pay a bit more, but come on, no. That's not going to cut the mustard, because once you're in, that's it. You're going to be looked after and cared for. And if you are trying to think in your own mind, is this something, I don't know, then there's going to be 12 people. Once it's done, it's done. I think the question I would ask inside my mind is this. What would I need to ask? So if this was me and I was watching, if I was watching me, but I was me, I don't know if that makes sense, but if I was watching somebody, I would first of all ask, do I trust them? Do they have a track record? Can I check them out? What do I want to know that will put my mind at rest? That's the first thing. Second, I would say, look, what budget have I got available? Assuming that, I want to build my business up next year, what can I realistically do? Because either you can afford it or you can't. More often than not, it's a question of, does this matter enough? Okay, £274 a month. It's a bit of a stretch, but it's definitely doable. It's not something, it's not like there are plenty of programs which are 10,000, plus for a year. This isn't that. This is doable. This is affordable to the degree that this is something you want to do, to the degree that this matters to you, to the degree that it feels right. And if it doesn't feel right, don't worry, because there's going to be some good stuff on Facebook. In fact, what I'm going to do is, I think we're going to have, it was really cool doing 28 days to Hypnosis Success. We'll do some NLP stuff on there. But of course, afterwards, that will be made exclusively to people within my inner circle. So if this is of interest to you, and you've still got questions, then let me know. Let me know either way. If you have questions, just want to answer, you just want to chat and ask about something that's not clear, because obviously I'm not there with you, so I don't know what's going through your mind. Okay, so let me know. If you definitely want to reserve a place, and the minimum is going to be a £97 deposit. You're going to want to do that ASAP, so that you're in. That's there. It's set up, and of course I will let you know. I will give you details of what we're going to be doing, the start dates, the information. You will be getting audios out, sort of full practitioner training that you can go through. We'll have a manual that you can, there will be plenty. All the stuff will be there, ready to go. All those details will be filled in. But here's the thing. I think it's really important that you just decide inside your own mind where you want to be 12 months from now, and that will help you decide whether this is something of interest to you. NLP has, personally, the way that I've learned it within hypnosis transformed my life. The very first training I went on was a NLP practitioner with Bandler. I think it was Michael Green and Paul McKenna back in, I think it was March 2000, and totally transformed my life when I was there. And we were doing sliding anchors in the hypnotic trance. I honestly thought I was going along to learn study skills to read a book. So because I had this book called Photo Reading and the guides, which is a way that apparently you can go into peripheral vision and absorb information in. And he said in it, go and do NLP. It's really, this will be good for you. You'll be able to read better. And I thought, well, there's a course here. This is one of the guys who co-developed it. So presumably he knows something about it. I've got a few books out in the library, and boy, I don't want to say who those authors were, but let me tell you, I couldn't get past about page 10 on it. I was like, this is the most boring thing I've ever read in my life. So I turn up there. I wasn't really expecting too much. I was expecting to be pretty dull and a few people waffling on and a few very academic people. And oh no. When I first experienced my first hypnotic trance, and I had something called a sliding anchor set up on my arm, it was that powerful. Well, let me tell you, I had my first experience of going inside and dropping into this wonderful altered state where I felt fantastic, just through somebody chatting with me, better than I would have felt, back in the day from, having a couple of beers or going out for a meal. I felt that good. It's the first experience that I had of being able to do that without having to go external, just using the power of my mind. It was massive. I started to feel fantastic inside. I felt so good. And it was so powerful that about 3 months later, I was on the underground, and there were some people who got on, and one person got on. And if you ever lived and worked in London at the time, I was a developer for the Royal Bank of Scotland and NatWest. I started with NatWest and Royal Bank of Scotland. Took them over, and I was going on. This person, came on and elbowed me. They don't, if you're on the London Underground, nobody apologises. So I've been elbowed, and somebody next to me just happened to brush up against me. And all of a sudden, I just felt myself smiling and laughing. Now, bear in mind, I'd been elbowed and jabbed good and proper in the ribs. And now all of a sudden, I was smiling. And the aggressive person next to me was just randomly got on and just elbowed me, and I think he probably had a brolly as well, so he was ready, If that didn't do the job, he had his brolly ready to poke in. And I'm there and I'm laughing and I'm smiling inside, and I can remember it now. And I'm starting to feel this sense of excitement inside. And I thought, what the bloody hell is going on? And I remembered, and I suddenly dawned on me, because I literally just ran my hand down there. And that kinesthetic anchor, that sliding anchor, you'd set a number of anchors, and you can literally slide it down on top of a person's arm, just triggered all of that off inside me. And it was a wonderful, powerful convincer. Now, you don't need to have sliding anchors in your arm. You definitely don't want to go to London and be jabbed by Mr. Jabber. You don't need that. But it was that powerful for me. It transformed the way that I thought about life. It transformed me from the inside out. It really was. I just started meditating a little bit earlier that year, back in January, with something called Holosync, the Centerpoint program. So I'd started to already experience some shifts and change in the way that I was perceiving things. But this was a massive, massive thing for me. And so that year, I ended up doing practitioner. I ended up doing started doing Ericksonian hypnosis and other trainings. That led on to more trainings. And you know what? The more I turned up and did this stuff, the deeper I got, the better I felt, the more confident I became in these skills. But you know what? Once you get to the point where you've got that and you can live your life on those terms, and you can bring that to bear across whatever you want to do, and you can take that and use that purposefully and with intention to be somewhere different at the end of 2018, looking back on having made this transformation, then I think something wonderful, then there's something really cool inside your life. So if you want to experience that, if you want to have those certificates on the wall behind you, contact me now. Just send me a message. Don't delay. Just say, even if it's like, you know what, I tell you what, I've got a bit of, you can test it. I'm sitting on the fence, but I'm thinking about it. Or I'm totally interested. Or definitely I'm in. Send me the link now so that I can pay my deposit, or send me the link now so I can pay in full, because you know what, if that's done, then I'm in and I'm ready for the year. I promise you, I will support you, I will look after you, I'll take very good care of you. The reason that I have done well with my clients over the years is I take on a very small number of people and I really, really look after them. This is important for me, it's important for you, because if you're still watching this now, I imagine very much that you are of the same mindset. So I'm going to wrap this up now, because I'm sure you've got other things that you want to do. But please let me know on Facebook Messenger, just send me a little message, Rich, I want to do this, or Rich, or just ask a question. But if the questions start coming through, then I will get back to you. I am not going to try and hard sell anything. That is not me. I will come back, I will answer your questions. But really, from a practical point of view, I can only look after 12 people in that capacity and to that degree. And I think you understand that. And I would encourage you, if you want to, just for your peace of mind, if you would like me to send you to the website of my colleague who's charging, and has done now for a number of years, by the way, 4,000 for this course, 4,000 for that, almost 6,000 for that early bird discount. I would be very happy for you to do that. I don't mind. The reason I don't mention is I love him. He's a wonderful guy. I think it's fantastic. Knock yourself out. You can charge whatever you want. It's a different service that I'm offering. Okay, it's tailored. You will be doing all the stuff by yourself. We may well meet at other events as well. There may be some stuff that we can do in terms of how we interact in some other events as well, but I'm going to keep that as bonuses for later on, as and when that's ready. But we will create the ideal learning environment for you. I have a training. I have one of the few recognised trainings in the UK in e-learning through JISC, the Joint Information Systems Committee, to do with e-learning. So not only am I an NLP trainer, but I'm used to delivering content online, and I'm used to working with helping create the ideal learning environment. There's a lot of things around learning theory about how people learn, and I will be using NLP hypnosis. I'll be using the expertise in that to make sure that you stay motivated and you stay inspired. And as long as you're inspired now, as long as you have a deep personal meaning and a deep personal reason to have done this by the end of next year, to feel that good inside, to actually do that inside, then this is going to be something that you are going to want to seriously consider. So let me know now. Send me a little message through, then we can start talking. There's only 12 places available. When they're gone, they're gone. And I guess, that kind of seems like a very Black Friday thing to sort of do. So thank you so much for joining me here today. Whether or not this is of interest to you or not, stay in touch. I've been really grateful this year to have met some wonderful people from the Royal event, from last week's event as well. How many therapists does it take to change a light bulb? It's just wonderful. It has really been such a privilege, really inspiring. I just think that we, as a community, there were some really wonderful people out there. I'm just really grateful for that. So thank you for taking your time here today. Stay in touch, and if you are interested, let me know now. Cheers, I'm signing off.